love that intro.
Evening, Keepers of the Cash. Gary B, the casual comic guy here, and joined tonight, as I am every single Thursday, we have Digger Jim down below. How you doing tonight, Jim?
Doing great.
And
Doing great.
before I introduce the rest of my co-hosts and our esteemed guests this evening, I think we all need a big round of wishing Jim a happy 56th birthday.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Another day up in the
You
world.
look a day over 57. You look
There
great.
you go.
Not everybody gets to be 56, Jim. So
That's right.
you should appreciate it for sure.
I do.
And speaking, and one of my other co-hosts, we have Stephanie joining us this evening. Good evening, Steph.
Hey, I'm cosplaying Barbie today because she's coming out with her movie, right? So
There you
Nice.
go.
Nice.
And right next to Stephanie, we have C Bizzle. How you doing tonight, C Bizzle?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
And of course, our guest of honor this evening, another great artist in our community. He has a YouTube channel. His links are in the description below. And we are welcoming Danny from Drawing Conversation into the hot seat. How you doing this evening, Danny?
Man, I am doing great. Gary, let me just say, brother, thank you so much for your generosity. I truly appreciate it. Man, I can't thank you enough. Thank you for bringing me on, brother.
Well, you and I have been like 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon to each other for a while. It's about time we met.
It totally feels like that, right? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, yes.
So as I like to do on this show, what's going to happen is we're going to go say hi to the crowd real quick. We're going to come back to you. Well, we're going to let you give the 2-minute introduction to yourself. We'll say hi to the crowd, and then we're going to come back and start asking you very, very deep probing questions and leave you violated by the end of the show.
Ruby.
I feel like I should be paying you for that. Wow.
That comes later,
entertainment
right?
costs.
It's only your soul.
Dun, dun, dun.
But anyway, Danny, give the audience just a quick minute and a half synopsis of who you are and what your channel's about and what you do.
So yeah, Danny Fisher. I have always had a deep passion for everything nerdy, from comics, sci-fi, anime, you name it. I've been into it. And really the channel, and I have to absolutely shout out my wife, because I would sit down with my son as he was growing up and I would draw He-Man, and I'd say, this is the story of He-Man, and I would draw it, or this is the story of Voltron or
Nice.
Venom, and I would just draw it, just telling my son the story, the history of these characters. And my wife was like, dude, why aren't you doing something with YouTube? Why aren't you like making this? And I was like, you know what? You're right. Like, let's do it. So that's what it's all been about, is like, let me tell you a nerdy story about the Ninja Turtles, and let me draw the Ninja Turtles, a visual story that goes along with it, or Star Trek, or Samurai Jack, or, you know, just all these IPs that I grew up loving. And I could nerd out all day about and just come up with like different like what if scenarios.
Right.
I don't know, I might dip into that. So that's what I'm doing now. And I have to apologize a little bit because had a few things go on in the personal life, so it's pulled away from my time in drawing, because it literally takes 30 to 40 hours to research, write, draw, and edit, and then get episodes ready to go. So I've missed a couple uploads, and I apologize, but things are now smoothing out in the personal life, so I can get back into the studio and, you know, get back drawing. So
Nice. And
Yeah.
like I was telling you before the show, I think my favorite one you've done so far is the Ghost Rider one, and that end piece was amazing.
thank
and
you,
I know,
sir.
Jim, you should check that one out. This Ghost
I
Rider
will.
was amazing.
I watched the Dragon Ball Z one because I don't know jack diddly about Dragon Ball Z, and now I
Oh.
feel like, I mean, I did not realize it was so dark. I was like, holy cow, this is
It gets
terrible.
there. Yeah,
This
it
is
gets
really
there,
bad.
man.
And but you enlightened me, so I was very, I thank you. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna check out the Ghost.
Man, thank you for watching. Honestly, thank you so much.
This is awesome. I'm gonna.
Right.
This is part of like this is Gary's birthday present to me when he finds people that I don't like. YouTube is vast, and I tell him, I'm like, you find so many great people, and then immediately I'm like, okay, sub that person up because that guy's awesome. So I do have some questions for you, so be ready.
Whew.
We'll get
All
there.
right,
First, we're going to go say hi to the chat.
do it.
All right. First in, as always, Stephanie, you want to announce this one?
My nemesis, Las Cruces. You beat me every time.
Right.
But now it's a real show, though.
Hello from New Mexico. And then we have one of our favorites here, Anachronic Comics, Joe. How you doing tonight, Joe?
Joe!
Yep, we got Joe and one of my all-time favorite people, Jerry the Jitterbug. How you
Jerry
doing
the
this evening,
Jitterbug.
Jerry? We got the birthday boy himself saying hi to everybody in there, Digger Jim. Although the chat jumped on me when I went to click his name. There it is. All right. And Psychedelic Comics, Paul. Good evening, sir. Nice to see you. Poke Can Joe. Nice to see you. Right. So Joe's reels have been killing me the last couple of days.
I know. He's a very bad boy. He's a very bad
Milt
boy.
from Flower Comics. Nice to see you, Milt. Milt will be on next Tuesday on the 1011. Chuck is here. Chuck Hensey. Great to see you, Chuck. Hope you're feeling better, buddy. DVH, Mr. Dr. Von Hoots from the Spiral Dimension. Good evening, bud. Nice to see you. Marcus, some circumstances. Nice to see you, bud. One of our community legends there.
Yes.
And as we're going down, all right. So far we have caught up with the chat. We'll keep giving a quick nod to anyone who joins us as the program progresses. Now, Danny, we're going to go back to you, and I'm just going to start out before we even get into your art. I just want to know, because I've seen the stuff you're drawing, I've seen the imagination, I've seen all the different types of characters. So, what kind of cartoons was little Danny watching in his house?
Well, I think I kind of spoiled it already, but yeah, I mean, man, such a heavy. Well, let me back up and say I was very fortunate that everyone in my house were nerds. Like, my mom was a single mom, but she raised me on a steady diet of Star Trek and Star Wars and so many different graphic novels. Just so there was always that encouragement there. And then, of course, all my siblings just loved everything sci-fi. So when you have everyone in family just talking about just the most nerdy things, from what Superman's doing, what Batman's doing, sharing each other's X-Men comics, it was just like growing up like, wow, I don't know where, like, what nerdom or what layer started first, if that makes sense. But it was more like, so I couldn't tell you, like, I first found this because it's like ingrained in the DNA. Like,
sure.
Now,
It's a family affair.
Yes, everybody was into it. Everybody shared the comics. Everybody was gathered around the television. So
nice.
I'm going to mention a sci-fi series that not a lot of people talk about these days, but when it came on, it debuted on the Sci-Fi Channel, and it was amazing. And I don't know if you were too young for it or if it passed you by, but have you ever watched Farscape?
Oh God, I love Oh my gosh, let me get
It
you.
is so
Let me get you my
good.
Farscape
I love
com badge.
Farscape.
Where's my Anyway, I had my little Farscape com badge, and I keep it close by. It's just the coolest, man. And the way they wrapped it up in a beautiful bow at the end. I mean, they literally, there wasn't any loose ends. It was just, and it's so rare when you see that many seasons and such good writing that it's like.
I did miss Zan when she was gone. She was so good.
Amazing.
And I love the concept that the ship was alive and they're living on a living ship, and
right. And then it gives birth to like the most powerful weapon in like the galaxy. Yes.
Right?
Yes. I want a Talon. I want Talon.
Oh, and of course, I don't know who your favorite was, but mine was, of course, Aaron's son.
Oh, national treasure, sir.
Oh yeah, Claudia Black was kicking ass all over that show.
Absolutely, great show.
I remember I went and saw that stupid Vin Diesel movie just because she was in it, and that movie was so bad, Pitch Black. I'm still mad today because I paid for it.
I like Pitch Black. It was a good movie.
No,
I didn't hate it, but it wasn't his best, I didn't think.
Well, I remember that one line he always had, "Are you afraid of the dark?" And all I could ever hear Vin saying is, "Are you afraid of bad acting?" I'm like, "Yes, Vin, I am."
Totally scared of it. Totally, I can't take anymore, sir.
Right? Oh goodness! But I had to throw Farscape in because I know you're a big sci-fi guy, and I didn't know if that had gotten your radar at all.
So good, so very good,
and so underrated. A lot of people don't know about it these days. It's fantastic.
And I can't remember the actor. It's just eluding me right now. But the John Crichton character, I was not a big fan of his acting.
Ben Browder.
It was a little forced sometimes, man. It was just.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
It was just a little forced. But hey, made for TV. Come on.
I mean, he did his bit.
Come on.
Right.
He got better. He got better.
And what people don't realize is all the puppet work in that show. That was a Jim Henson production too.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Puppet.
Yeah.
Anything where they focused on Pilot was just fantastic.
Oh yeah, Pilot was amazing.
And then you learn he steals Moya. He was a thief. What the what? Anyway,
And Rigel
All right.
was hilarious.
yes.
Anyway, we've lost everybody. You and I are the only ones that know.
Totally miles
I
away
thought
now.
maybe
Sorry, guys.
Gary, I thought you might have been deep diving on Tubi because it's on Tubi right now.
No, I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to start watching it again.
Yeah,
It's one of my
'cause I
favorite
was like,
series
man, there's
ever.
some Farscape. Maybe I'll watch some of it. I don't have
I
time.
will,
And
I will say,
also, it's,
I will say, Jean Malo mentioned that V. He really liked
Yeah.
V, the original series.
Oh,
and
I
gotta
love that
say, like,
too.
oh, I hearted V so much.
Yeah.
I was in front.
Cats. Oh, I loved it.
I was in front of the TV every night when that miniseries was on.
Mhm.
Didn't it freak you out? Oh,
Loved
No, it
it.
did freak me out. I loved it. And that's when Robert Englund, before he was Freddy, when he was just playing the nerdy alien Willie.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
And you're like, who
years
would've thought,
ago.
Yeah, who would have thought Nerdy Willie would end up being Freddy Krueger, right?
So sweet and unassuming to like the scariest thing of like nightmare fuel. Like,
Right.
Oh, good. So anyway, you
how
were
do you
watching.
get there?
You were watching cartoons. So when you were watching the cartoons, did you start sketching then?
No, I mean, so growing up, like my mother would do her best to encourage any one of our passions. Like she, single mom raising 4 kids, she did her best, but couldn't always. But I remember she brought home from the library a how to draw animals, and it was simple blocks by taking basic shapes, and by taking basic shapes, you can flesh out like how to draw a horse or a fish. And I remember just spending an entire summer going back over that like probably 100 times. And I wouldn't say that I was naturally talented versus like hard work. My son hates hearing that. Man, he hates it. But I'm a big fan. I believe that hard work will kill talent every day of the week. If you have a passion for it and you literally spend 60 minutes a day doing that every day, and that's what I did, but I spent a lot more time. And then
So
comics
you
were
don't
always
believe in
been around.
practice?
Right? Exactly.
That's
It's
what I'm
all
asking
about
you.
Practice.
I mean,
Yes.
that's what I tell my son. Everything involves practice. Nobody
Yes,
just
sir.
wakes up and I mean, there are a handful of people I told him that wake up and have a natural talent to do things, whether it be sports, whether it be art, whatever. But and at the end of the day, if you go and look in an artist, or whether he be a painter or a sketch artist, back in the background, there are stacks of drawing pads where they,
Yes.
you can open up one and it'll be nothing but hands because that day he worked on hands or she worked on
Yes.
hands. She worked on hands. I'm
It's a
not gonna
stack of
be,
failures. Yes.
Well,
absolutely.
I don't look at it that way, and I tell him not to look at it that way because that's what he does. He gets in his head.
A
Look at
stack
it
of
as
progression.
advancement, correct? I mean, because the more you do it, the better you get. And if I'm teaching him driving right now, and
Oh.
so we haven't been out a whole lot, but you got to get out to do it. So,
Yeah.
but that's
Right,
a
you
great
gotta wreck
question.
6 or 7 of Dad's cars before you get it just right.
I hope not.
Look,
my son's on his second.
He dinged a mailbox. He dinged a mailbox with he got nervous because a car kind of weaned into our side, and he didn't want to hit it, which I was glad for. But the mirror caught the mailbox.
Yeah.
So Danny, you got Paul from Psychedelic Comics saying, Danny, salute to your mother. My mother was also a single mom raising 4 kids, but still found the time to take us to movies and get comics.
Right on.
100%. Great moms
And
out there.
Taylor Winder saying it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert, and he has put in 10,000 hours of opinionating to become an opinion expert. So
That's
good for
right.
him,
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
right? Oh goodness. So as an artist, and look, all of you, I will always keep talking. So if you have a question, you just have to interrupt me and shut me up.
Oh yeah, I got one, but go ahead.
All right. What was the first thing you drew that you really felt you finally nailed something that you liked? You obviously didn't think it was perfect, but you were like, all right, this I'm really happy with.
Oh, Gary, why you got to do
That's
this,
a-
brother? Because I'm
that's a
so
tough
self-critical.
question.
And Stephanie, you know what I'm talking about. I am so self-critical. Like I'll do a piece of art, and literally 10 minutes later, I'm tearing it apart in my head. Like I can't look at it anymore. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
put it away. I'm so I'm my own worst enemy.
Yes.
But the first time I think I drew something that like my mother was like, "That's really good. Like you need to keep doing that." It was like a little flyer for WrestleMania that was coming to our town, right? And we couldn't afford to go, but I was like, "Man, I would love to go." And an artist had drawn like Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper. And so I just
Nice.
sat down and I loved Hulk Hogan. So I started drawing Hulk Hogan. And it was a decent resemblance. And my wife,
Nice.
That's awesome.
Nice.
So I was keeping up with the chat. So now with the wrestling, did you stick with the wrestling? Was that like something you watched a lot growing up?
no, unfortunately not. I think it was right after that. It was just that genre or that,
Right.
I guess, era. I think it was right when like, I can't remember when.
I think that was when I watched it too when I was a kid, and it was the Roddy Piper, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, and then Macho Man came after. But it was like shortly after that, I never watched it again.
And I wanted to get back into it, but it was just, I don't know. I had so many different other things that were going on. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know. So I have a question that's more not as crazy as that one. What is your? I noticed on your videos you're using digital. Can you tell me what digital software or equipment that you're using right now?
Absolutely. So, and this may sound weird, but I think that most cost-effective way to get into digital art, if you look at a lot of the different tablets, and I've tried several different drawing tablets that were insanely expensive, but the iPad Pro, for what you get, for the seamless and the ease and speed that you can pick it up, I found was the most cost-effective way to jump into it. I like the real estate. I wish the tablet was a little bit bigger, but then it's not a tablet anymore, right? It's a monitor.
Right.
I didn't carry that around. So Apple's not going to go in that direction. That's okay. But
Like-
I worked. Go ahead.
No, I mean my son has one that's probably like I don't know 7 years old, and so I'm looking to upgrade him
Yeah.
from whatever his mother bought him because I know it's past his prime. That's all.
Yeah. But like literally I think even, I'm trying to think of there's obviously a smaller, I think I'm going to get the products mixed up. I'm sorry. I think it's the mini, but it still has great capability. And I use Clip Studio Paint just because for the features, the cost, I want to say is like $35 for a perpetual license. You get all the updates. You can load it on up to 4 machines. So you get so many features that instead of drawing it in, say, for example, Photoshop and then maybe porting it over to Illustrator and then you're finally render, it's all one shot, one kill.
I like that.
There's no subscription models, guys. I hate subscription models. Get me. Adobe knows what they're doing. They've got my wallet. So
Now, I did notice that too when I was watching your Origin of Ghost Rider just before you came on, and I noticed that you're basically doing the same steps, right? You have your pencils down, then you're going through and you're inking, then you're going through with the colors. How is it adjusting from going from a physical medium where you're actually on paper to digital? Was that odd for you at first?
oh my gosh, that was it felt like the steepest because I can typically pick up different mediums and do okay or feel like I have some competency, but I literally was about to return the iPad. I spent so much time trying to figure out and understand the sensitivity that it took well over 2 months, and I'm still learning different things that the iPad can do. So
Now, I
Nice.
got to ask a question of both you and Stephanie here as artists, because I know when I'm writing, I'm writing like this with my hand laying on the sheet. How tough is it for you guys as artists when you're sketching that you guys don't put your hand on the sheets at all that you're working, right? They're floating, like you have your hand off the surface. Is that something that you have to train yourself on at first? Like when you first start drawing, do you guys lay your hand down flat on the sheet and then have to adjust?
Stephanie, you go first.
Okay, I don't bother. I let my hand draw across the page usually, and then I'll just go back and erase whatever I don't like because I usually start off really loose, anyway. So
Oh, okay. I was always curious about that, and I always forget to ask it.
When I start, like when I'm just sketching, yes, I draw with my shoulder and elbow. My hand typically doesn't touch the paper until I start getting like those basic shapes. Everything's plotted. My basic blocks for a torso, arms, legs. So I'm drawing constantly with my shoulder, if that makes sense. So you're right. At first, I'm not touching the paper, and then as I start fleshing and getting more detail, yes, the hand comes right. It's
Get right on it.
it's
That's
yeah.
right. It's almost
normally,
Yes,
normally what I use is I have a glove, an artist glove.
yes, sir.
When I draw,
Mhm.
and sometimes because I'm left-handed, so when I draw and I'm going across to the right, it will smudge, but not when I have the glove on. So
Absolutely. Yep.
Now,
100%.
how does that work different on the digital format?
Well, I still wear a glove because I need some type of what they call palm rejection, because the built-in palm rejection technology stinks. So I've kind of bought a glove that absolutely stops that actually making flesh contact with the tablet itself. So
I gotcha.
Oh, nice. Okay.
yeah, and it helps to glide a little bit. So
yeah, make it smooth.
All right, now, what are some of the projects? You've done some professional work, I assume. I know you do commissions.
I wouldn't say professional. I've illustrated a few books. That was years and years ago. A couple of kind of off-the-wall sci-fi novels that were just a labor to read. So obviously they didn't go anywhere. But I wasn't the writer. I provided the art. That was many, many moons ago. But yeah, honestly, right now it's more, hey, I want to get this channel going. I want to try to get some traction there, and get that passion going. And something that we talked about earlier, if I could get away from the 9 to 5, right? If I could just
Right.
get those passions going,
Right.
that's the dream, man. That's the dream, to work for yourself. So
what's your favorite medium right now, Danny?
say again now.
What's your favorite medium to work in?
Okay, I love pen and ink. The level of control that I can have over it. And I'm a kid of the 80s and 90s, so I love all those fast cross-hatching, from Jim Lee to Weiss Portacio, Mark Silvestri, so seeing all those, yeah, I fell in love with pen and ink crazy fast. And of course now it's just all digital. It's so much faster and so much more forgiving. Like I can make real mistakes and not worry about spilling a bottle of ink or a pen exploding.
Do you
and
miss
starting
the
all over.
mistakes? Do you miss the mistakes? Because sometimes mistakes can be little discoveries too.
You know what?
Yeah,
That's a good point. That's a good point. I haven't gotten that far along. That's a good point. I do miss having the smell and the feel of paper. Like I do miss that. I really do. So I can say that honestly.
I have a question. So I know you deal with digital. What is your thought on AI as far as art? Don't get too mad. I'm just as a fellow artist, I have to ask because I don't like it at all, me myself, because it's taken away from the actual people that putting in the work.
100%, brother. 100%.
I'm still not sure how that works, so maybe you guys can explain that to me. Do you just tell it what you want and it comes up with a concept and sketches it out digital? It just like creates it?
And it depends on the prompts that you put into it and which AI specifically you are submitting your prompts to. So you tell it, give me a Rembrandt representation of myself carrying a spear in 1920, and it'll generate that image for you in seconds.
Wow.
In seconds, and it'll go out and it'll just gather all the images of all the prompts that you put in, and in seconds it's generating that. So yeah, absolutely. It's something. It's so funny. I was talking to my coach last night about this, but it's moving at such a pace. The technology is going so fast, and legislation can't keep up quick enough. That's why you're seeing writers and artists strike and actors strike, because it's taking away the human element. And so I'm 100% against it. It's until it can be, I don't know. I see it as also a powerful weapon. Just working in the technology industry, it's also a very powerful aid, but it's a fine line. It's a fine line. I'm sorry. What should give you more?
No, that was a good answer. because I don't, it's just the AI thing isn't something I've really looked into, and
Yeah.
like, of course, I've seen a few things because people use it on Instagram, and you see a couple things like everyone's doing the morphing videos with it and they look kind of cool, but I don't know. It's also kind of at the pace that those videos are going, it's kind of just disjointed.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Agreed.
No heart and soul
There's
in it.
going to be something that's going to be said to have something originally done by a human
Right.
Oh, I couldn't agree more.
teacher, and that's going to be more valuable
Yes, I agree.
intrinsically then because it was
100%.
done by a human. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
100%. Yes, agreed. And that's, I mean, whether you're an artist or you're a collector of art in any of its medium, I think you're going to rely on that human touch. That's what I crave. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm gonna hold this. I got this as a present today, and I'm gonna show this to you guys. And I don't think this is something that AI would do this beautifully, right? So this is from Dan Can from Out of the Panel Comics, and he knows I'm a big Peggy Carter fan and a big Haley Atwell fan. And this is by Robert Bruno. But
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow,
That's
nice.
beautiful.
impressive.
so, and it's just gorgeous. But it's like right down to the fleck on her nose
Right.
and everything.
Look at that shading and everything.
Now, and this, like getting something like this isn't something I could see AI putting that much life into the image.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And
But,
that's
I mean,
what's scary.
I could
Yeah.
be wrong.
It's literally just a few short years away from that. I mean, just what I've seen. Obviously, I live on Instagram. Seeing what AI is putting out there, it's startling and very impressive at the same time. So,
Now, I think, and Paul touches on it too. I think the AI is probably more cool and should be used for more scientific reasons, for like simulations and stuff like that, where it can advance science.
Sure.
But I don't think anything's ever going to take the place, like Stephanie was saying, of hand created art from a person, which is there's a soul that's put into it when it's created by somebody, and you can see it. It's like when CGI comes out, and there's just you compare CGI to like Ray Harryhausen, and you know what he's making. It doesn't look real, but there's so much life in what he created. You are just having this incredible journey with the puppets that he created, right, in the stop motion.
There has to be a
And-
thought behind it too, a thought behind the art, and
Yes.
the thought has to come from a mind, and the AI. I mean,
The nuances, right?
it's going to be a lot different than our minds. So.
Nice. All right. So let's talk about some of your about doing. How did you get into commission work? Because I saw you grifter over at Mikhail's house, and I've seen a couple of the other things you drew. Which
no, I didn't do that grifter. That grifter's amazing, but I didn't do that particular
okay.
one.
For some reason, I associated you with grifter, but he did show me some stuff you did, and then he was showing me your Red Sonja, which connected you and I together because
Yep.
we were going to do a Red Sonja project at some point.
We need to do that. Yes, I need a subject expert on Red Sonja. Yes.
Oh God.
Well, you have a
No
subject
problem.
expert, plus you have someone that's cosplayed her up top.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. We caught you.
Only cosplayed her
got
one
you.
time.
Yes, Jim. I applaud you. I heard it.
Oh,
What's that?
No.
Jim volunteered to cosplay Red Sonja.
No, I said I only cosplayed her one time.
Well, I thought I heard you
Many
said
years
you're
ago.
going to cosplay her
Oh,
another
God.
time.
Yeah.
He's still picking some of the links out of his butt crack.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh.
Um.
Seeing that picture, that image. Ugh.
So,
That's what I'm
Cool.
here for.
I
And
have a question.
Marcus is saying he's heard it said, and he agrees that AI won't replace you in your job, but a human using AI as a tool will.
Yes.
Agreed.
So I have a question to both Madam and Danny. When I know y'all, in sometime in your life you had an artist block. What did y'all do to get out of that?
Oh, good question.
Stephanie, you go first. Let me think about that.
Okay.
He threw you under the bus.
I'll tell you what I did. I wouldn't do anything. I would just let it pass. Honestly,
God.
wait for inspiration. Because if you don't feel it, I don't feel like making something. I'm not going to make it.
Right.
I need inspiration, so I just wait for that.
I would totally agree with that, but I would also say have a good, strong, or even if it's a small community, just one or two people you can reach out to who are also artists, and just start talking with them. Just go out and have a few beers, and just maybe have a little sketch session. And like I just kind of get inspired by seeing other artists work. It's like, wow, that's
But
pretty
how do you
awesome.
guys approach that when you're commissioned to do something and you're committed to doing something, and it's not something that you necessarily you're not enjoying the subject matter, but you have to get it done because you accepted the job? How do you guys approach it that way?
So I'll go first this time. So I unfortunately am a huge people pleaser. It's horrible. It's a huge thing. Like I really want to do my best work and I want to make people happy. So when people come up to me, they're like, "Hey, I want this tattoo of blah 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 blah." Even though I'm like, well, I'm not into really like zodiacs or foxes or sharks or whatever. It's like I want to make you happy. I want a good piece of art. So I just kind of pack up, the inspiration piece, and it's like, well, time to go to work. Let's just go. Let's just go.
Steph?
I mean,
Yeah.
I would.
I feel like the same way. I'm a people pleaser. I want my customer. I grew up in customer service. I want my customer to be happy with what I do because I want them to be like, oh my god, this is amazing. That's what my ultimate goal is. I just need validation, honestly. So, you know what I mean? So,
Right on. Yeah, I would think that would be hard to do. If you don't like the subject first of all, and then you have to muscle your way through it.
It's tough. It is tough. But now this is the other thing too, is I believe also in a legitimate work ethic, meaning you kind of get up and you take a shower and you brush your teeth, even though you don't want to, right? Like you got to get up and you got to pay your bills, even though you don't want to. So sometimes I found that even if I don't want to draw, I'll sit down and I'll just start sketching for fun. If I'm watching television or something, it's like, oh my gosh, this is turning out so good. This doodle, this screw up, this accident is looking amazing. I want to see this to completion. And then all of a sudden, boom, the inspiration is back again. Right. So yeah, it comes and goes, but I also believe in hard work, and we don't like,
I'll definitely say I piggyback on that and say, like, if I got nothing going on, I for sure have like some pen and paper or something always handy for me to like sketch an idea, just so it's not too far away from me. So it's always handy with, so it's accessible as soon as I have an idea or something.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
But you need to keep doing it if you can, but if you're not feeling it, it's okay too.
Right.
Keep that sketchbook in arm's reach though.
Yeah.
Right.
Keep it close.
Yeah.
Keep your weapons close. Your enemies are tough.
Well, Stephanie can sculpt a little voodoo doll of you if you make her mad enough.
Right.
What'd you say?
No.
So, do you have some? Are you a Marvel or a DC guy, or do you even care? I mean, that's kind of. I mean, because I don't, and I've always, and we've had people on that are like DC. I don't know what that is. I'm strictly Marvel, and then I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. I feel like you're missing out, but that's fine. Because I love both, and I'm always curious to see what other guests.
Okay, growing up, my house was Marvel.
Okay.
Period. End of story. It was Marvel all the way, because being artist first, I found that like all the best artists lived at Marvel. I mean, they really did, especially in the 80s and 90s. Like that's where the best.
Right.
But then I got older and it's like it's more than just art. Like you have to have a good story. You have to have a great story. And so now I find stories wherever I can find them. I can't sit. I am in no way in one camp. There's no way. Too many good stories out there.
I'm in the story. I'm in the camp of if that it can be a great story, but I'm looking at a comic book. So if the art is really tough to look at, I struggle to, Gary and
Yeah.
I both referenced this. What was it? A Batgirl book or something?
Batgirls. We were both
And-
excited for it. Picked up the first issue. You open the cover, and the art inside was so bad. I'm like, there's no way I'll even be able to get into the story. It doesn't
Yeah,
even
it was-
represent the characters the way I imagine them.
Yeah,
In
and
any
it,
shape or form.
it was just very poorly done. And I asked him, I said, "Did you read that?" And he's like, "No, I didn't." It was
No, I put it
terrible.
back on the shelf. I couldn't get past
He's
the
like,
art. It was so bad.
right, and that's
Or just not for me. I
You
shouldn't
know-
say bad. It just wasn't for me.
right. I guess that's a good way to put it. I mean, like, I am a huge George Perez, John
Yes.
Byrne fan. That's what I
Yes.
grew up with.
Mhm.
Those two guys are in my top, top 5. But then there are other ones that I love as well. There's some times where I'm like just awed at like Mark Silvestri. And if Michael Turner were still alive, I mean, he would
Oh.
still be crushing it.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
And Michael
I agree.
Turner's Witchblade work, it was just
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
And every cover he did on the Justice League was just, I mean, that's why I picked up all those books.
Right?
Yeah.
It was incredible. So
Yes.
The Batman and Superman series he did was good too.
the Batman
Yeah.
Superman series, they're well sought after. So for me, it's about the art. But I guess, yeah, I agree with you. If DC has a great story, that's where I'm going. If Marvel has a great story, if an independent has a great story,
Yeah, absolutely. I'll follow to the ends of the earth.
yeah.
Yeah.
But to your point, art
sorry.
is so hard to get through. Like, it's so difficult. It's like a labor to understand what is good. Yeah, it's.
Right.
I'm putting it down. I'm sorry.
Well, and also comics today aren't as wordy as they were in
Yes.
the 80s.
Oh my
what,
God.
does that, what does that say about it? What does that say about? What, I don't know.
I
don't
think
know.
the fan and reading has really gone down.
Well,
I
and
think
it,
it's
it
so
also
sad.
says that the art better help carry it, because if it's not going to have a lot of words to it in the story, the art is supposed to be what carries it. So
Yes.
if it's not interpreting the story well, then
Agreed.
Right, yeah, the best art enhances the story, and the story enhances.
Hey Gary,
Okay.
can you highlight Anachronic Comics comment there?
Which
Stephanie
one?
only drinks
I
champagne.
prefer both, or Steph-
Ah,
I had put that up
See
earlier.
this? Do you see what I'm doing here? Look at that.
ooh.
Come on, Joe.
No, we actually came with the same drinks because
We-
I have.
We did.
Also-
All right, so what are we drinking? Just real quick, we got to do a quick check. What are we drinking, y'all?
San Pellegrino and a lime popsicle was in it.
Okay,
Pellegrino and lime for me, fresh lime.
Pellegrino.
Water.
Okay, water.
A&W.
A little bit of rum and ginger ale. I just threw it together. I needed something stronger than beer.
Wait.
That
You
sounds
just became
disgusting.
you just became my best friend. Rum and ginger ale. Yes, that's
Hey.
delicious.
Hey, being Puerto Rican, I can drink
Yes.
rum all day.
Yes.
All day.
Give me some spice rum. I like that too. So
Joe's calling you out, Stephanie. He's saying you pulled that bottle of champagne before the show.
That's funny.
Oh, so I got a question for you, Danny. I'm really curious how you would describe your style, and if you modeled it after anybody, and if you ever tried any kind of different things like portrait work or tried anything with different time periods to emulate what was done before. Like, how exactly did you come up with your style, and how would you describe the way your art is?
Holy crap! That's so. I've been drinking, Gary. That's
You're in the hot seat. You
Oh my
answer
gosh,
the
it's
questions.
Fire
and
them at you,
hotter
buddy.
and hotter.
Pow, pow, pow,
Your
pow.
artist
Yeah.
statement ready, Danny.
Come on, brother.
Um,
You got to get with the program.
Yes, I was very fortunate that my high school was extremely art focused. So you could literally take art 1, art 2, and then start specializing if you want to go into sculpting, painting, pen and ink. So I just was very fortunate to be able to have so much formal, I would consider formal art training. But I always had just that love of comic books. I just loved it. And so, I mean, just, I don't know if I could, how would you classify just comic book art? Is that a,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll go with that. But, man, so many huge, you just called George Burns one of my, or excuse me, George Perez. Not- Getting it mixed up. You also said John
Yeah.
Burns. One of my, just an icon, just what pulled me through Superman.
Yeah.
You know, so it was, so many. Yeah, there's too many artists out there to say that's the one artist that influenced me the most. But I mean, again, growing up in the '90s, McFarlane, Dale Keown. Did I pronounce that last name right? Keown?
Yep.
Is that right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. But just amazing line work. The line work was so impressive. Yeah.
Very clean. That's what I like about Perez and Byrne. Now, Byrne sometimes got a little, I thought later on down the road, his female form got a little too blocky. I don't know how to explain that, but some of the face looked too blocky on some of them. And
Like JR?
Almost, yeah. and I mean, like, he definitely, I mean, I thought he did an amazing job with She-Hulk, but that's because she's She-Hulk. She needs to be buffer.
Yeah.
And he did okay with Wonder Woman, but yeah, just, I don't know. I had never seen a bad Perez work. I can't find it. Maybe it's out there somewhere, but I don't know where it is. Everything I see of his has just been beautiful. And he uses the whole page. Yeah. He doesn't want any white on that page at all. So he wants to tell a story. I love it.
No lazy hands there.
Do you ever experiment with different styles, or you're you just like doing what you do?
Honestly, I haven't done a lot of experimenting. I would say in the last 5 to 10 years, maybe that's a bad thing. I don't know. That's a good point. Maybe I should start getting a little bit more outside of kind of the comfort zone.
Have you had any other influences from other art, like in the art history and stuff? Can you draw any influences from there that really affected you, do you feel like? That you were interested in or you thought were really cool?
This may sound terrible, but I felt like doing all the art history was such a labor. I remember sitting and thinking, why don't we go more into perspective? Why don't we go more to human form? Why don't we, instead of like, all right, so today we're going to study this period of art, and it's just, it's the labor. All right, we'll go through this. So
it was a grind for you.
While it's good to have that foundation of like the principles of design, the elements of art, it is good to have that to be able to say I can now break rules because I know the rules instead of like this is just me going ham. It was a labor for me. School was definitely a labor. It was work.
Yeah.
Now, and I've seen it with Stephanie, and she's described it before too. Like there's some things where she works on it, and this is how it's got to be, and there's other forms that she feels she can kind of break the laws of physics and stuff like that. Do you feel that way with some of the stuff you work on?
I think really everything, and because it is comic book art, everything is up for interpretation or breaking. So I think in every piece I try to do, I try to make something just a little bit more exaggerated, or maybe, this is not necessarily how an arm would bend perfectly, but it looks good in this panel or in this scene. So just wing it, just having fun with it, not taking it seriously. So
about your YouTube a second. Now, how did you come up with the Drawing Origins? Because that series is great. And you go through a whole history while you're drawing, and you're doing little clips in different parts, and then you reveal the whole piece of art at the end, which is great. But where did that concept come from? Was that still your wife's inspiration, or did you come up with that on your own?
Brother, my wife is an artist, like in sheep's clothing. She has the greatest idea, has the best ideas, and she's like, "You should do this, you should do that. Throw this in here. Try changing this. This looks too stale. What you said here doesn't sound quite enough energy." So, it's all been her. She's been my art director, my biggest critic, my biggest cheerleader. So yeah, it's all been her. I cannot. 23 years, sir.
Nice.
Congrats.
Can I say something though? For those 23 years, she probably had to listen to you critique yourself, so she knows what to say to you.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
Good point, Stephen.
She knows when to send me to bed. She's like, "It's 2 a.m. You've been looking at this piece. Just go to bed. Just go to bed. It'll be better in the morning. I promise." She's always right.
Go to sleep.
Go to bed. Go.
That's a good point.
So,
yes, ma'am.
So, question: This is for both again, Danny and Madam. Your children, are they get into art as well, or you just gonna let them develop that naturally instead of uh, putting it in front of them?
I just did my normal, the normal stuff, painting, drawing, and sculpting and stuff. And a couple of my children, I feel, are really drawn to it. So
Nice.
I think that's great. I try to nurture that as much as I can. Um, but I also don't want to ever force it on them. I want it always to be their idea and their motivation to do it. I don't want to be like, you should sit down and draw something. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, that's very nice because I personally get a very tight rope and I attach it to my son's legs. And as he draws a minimum of 2 hours a day, if he's not drawing fast enough, I have a switch. And that's how you treat children where I'm from. No, 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 no. He is. This is the same. This is the sad and amazing thing about my son is that he is brilliant, guys. I'm telling you, at 10 years old, his IQ's levels were off the chart. He is autistic. He is incredibly smart. He's incredibly talented at anything he picks up. He can sit down and draw just by looking at it for just a few moments. He'll sit down and draw just the most amazing pieces of art. Being able to look and actually genuinely look at a subject and then recreate it on pencil, but it's not his passion. He's
Yeah.
not into it. He doesn't
Right.
love to. He doesn't want to do it. He does it for science presentations at school, like when he's
Yeah.
drawing amoebas or the cell or reproductive organs or whatever. It's so detailed. It's mind blowing. It's
Wow.
like, kid, why aren't you spending more? If you put the work in behind this talent, you'd rule the world. But it's not his passion, so I'm not going to
Yeah.
force him. Not going to force him.
I'm the same way. My son is 6 years old. He's autistic, and his main thing is cars. He loves everything about cars.
Yes.
So I've been taking him. A matter of fact, this Sunday I'm taking him to a car show, his first ever car show. So I'm pretty sure both you and Madam would do that with your kids. If they find an interest of some type of subject, even if it's outside of your art, you're going to nurture it as much as you can.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir.
Well, and I
100%.
think that's important too, and I know Stephanie and I have had this conversation. Um, like one of the things I always got asked when I had my son is, why didn't you name him after you? 'Cause easy. I don't want him to be me. I want him to be him.
Same.
Right.
I don't. I was never with the concept that, like, say you own a business and you have a kid, that you force them into that. And now, if that's what they want to do, that's one thing. But you have to, at least in my opinion, you have to let them grow into who they need to be.
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
now I'll say
Okay.
something a little controversial to Danny here, because we had this conversation a little bit earlier, and I really think that artists are really born. I think they're born, and they're not made. I think they're either nurtured or they're not. Either they keep doing it or they don't. And I think that's just the way that genetics play it out in my thoughts.
Interesting.
I kind of agree with that because that's how I was. My father, only reason I started drawing was because my father drew Batman in front of me. I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and I started trying to mimic him and drawing Batman, and that led up to me still continuing. And my mother nurtured me. She'll buy me my art, the pads and the pencils, the crayons, the markers, and she
Right.
kept it up. So and I just kept doing it, and I love art to this day.
You know?
I think it's if I wouldn't necessarily say a person is born an artist, but they're born with the passion to create something, and they're going to slam their heads against the wall every day to create because that's all they know how to do, or that's the only passion that they know how to follow.
Yeah.
So I guess yes, but I also believe that nothing great came from nothing. Everything came from something. You have to crawl to walk to run to be Usain Bolt. You have to take those baby steps. You have to keep working. You have to put in the works. But again, if you if you're born with that passion, then you are born an artist. You know,
Mhm.
if you're born with that passion towards whatever it is, violin, martial arts, culinary arts, you know, whatever it is that you got to do it.
Yeah.
And you're passionate, you do it every day. Yeah. I could definitely see that.
What are some of your favorite characters to draw?
Oh man, dude, I could draw Hulk all day. I don't know what it is. It's just I love Hulk, man. I love the Hulk. I love Batman. Something I could draw Wolverine. Could draw Wolverine all day. And I want to do an origin story of Wolverine, but it's so long. It's so long and convoluted.
Yeah, you have to tighten that up. You have to do like an abridged version. He was
Yeah.
here for a little bit, and then we went over here, and then he was
Yeah.
here for a little bit, and then he went over here. And we're not going to talk about any of that. We're going to
We
stick.
got to
with
do all the reimaginings.
Yeah.
All
Oh, no.
75. No.
Yeah, I'm just.
Oh no.
You know, somebody posted something the other day on one of the feeds that
All the retcons.
about the Hulk and like it was a poster or something that had all the different artists that had drawn the Hulk, and people were like, "Oh yeah, so Sal Buscema, Herb Trimpe, you know, this is my top 3." And do you have a top 3? I mean, have you seen since you like to draw that character so much? I mean, there have been some.
It's Dale Keown first and foremost. That was
Yeah.
my entire his run on Hulk. I picked it
Yeah.
up just for the art. Like I got to the point where it's just like I could memorize every panel. They were so good. It was just the storytelling was amazing. His women are a little bit bulky, but you know, whatever. You know, it worked. A little bit like in the same vein, Ed McGuinness. I could
Oh, yeah.
read anything that he's doing, even though I think the Hulk story's gotten a little convoluted too. It's
Yeah.
kind of lost me at some points. So, but the art of Ed McGuinness just brings me right back. And definitely, even though Jim Lee doesn't draw Hulk often, when he does, it is spot on. It is
Correct.
just amazing to see, for sure.
And he's been around so long, there's been so many interpretations of him.
Right.
You know, with just a big, thick, monstrous Hulk, plus the Hulk that's a little thin in the waist, but
Right.
bulkier and bulkier the up he gets. You know, like the Mark Bagley or the Eric Larson Hulk, and the
Right.
you know,
Professor Hulk looked totally different. He looked,
right.
you know, he looked really skinny at the bottom, and it was almost, he looked like a different
So
person.
What's
Being
your
a comic
favorite
fan.
female to draw? Do you have a female you like to draw?
Oh, I could draw Wonder Woman all day. I love me some Wonder Woman. Yes, absolutely. If someone says sit down and draw a female character, it's Wonder Woman. Yeah, that's what's coming to the pencil first.
Nice.
all right, one demerit for you because you didn't say Red Sonja.
Or Black Cat, or Dazzler. If you
Don't
did a
read it from
Dazzler,
the comics is like he gets
Oh,
it.
that-
if you did a Dazzler for Gary, oh my gosh, he'd be
It was,
like,
it was
that's-
really
that's-
nice briefly
Like,
getting to know you, Danny.
I think he was just growing up watching Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
you know, and it's
Come on,
like
Linda Carter, who wasn't inspired?
I'm
Oh my
so
God.
young. It's like, what are these feelings that I'm feeling? Like, what is going on? I don't know what's happening, but I can't stop watching.
Yeah.
And I think Linda Carter was the first like hero on TV. Like you had the black and white serials, but when she came on the screen as Wonder Woman, I think she was actually the first actor to actually make you feel like you're really watching the hero.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree
She
with
looked
that.
apart.
Like she just really personified the character, just like Christopher Reeve did with Superman. Like
Oh, yeah.
when he came on in that movie, he felt like the Superman you grew up with. When Linda Carter came on as Wonder Woman, that felt like a real Wonder Woman.
Right.
That is someone that I would follow. If they're like, get up, follow me, we're going now. Yes, ma'am. What can I do? Let me pick up this baseball bat. How can I help?
Yeah, we're going to fight. All right.
And
Absolutely.
oddly enough, every time Danny got lassoed, he'd go, "Oh,
That's awesome.
oh, that's a good choice." So was that?
Definitely
Would you say that was your first celebrity crush then, Linda
Oh.
Carter?
um,
Let's get into it.
to be totally honest, it was Elvira.
Elvira.
Oh,
Look away! Look away! Sorry.
that's okay.
Oh man.
Late night scary movies. Yeah.
You always remember your first celebrity crush.
Mhm.
Always.
All right, let's go around the panel with that. Jim, who was your first celebrity crush?
that was Linda Carter. I mean, my father brought that poster home, and I was like, "Thank you very much." At the same time, I was like, "No Batman," but at the same time, I was like, "Okay, yeah, thank you." It's like you were saying, you got these feelings going, and you're not sure what's up, but you don't mind looking at it. We still put a Batman beside her, but she was right on the back of the door. Yeah, absolutely. She was 100%.
Bizzle?
Oh, mine's easily Janet Jackson.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I grew up. I'm talking
Because
about
she was nasty.
when she before that when she was Penny on
Oh, right.
Times.
yeah.
Good times, yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh.
Gosh.
Stephanie?
My first celebrity crush.
Yep.
I gotta say, Jason Momoa. Is that his last name?
That
Yep,
cannot be your
got it.
first.
Yep, that's it. That's
Ma'am.
Come on.
She waited
your
until she was
first
an adult
crush?
to have a crush on a celebrity.
I mean, because he's
That's
my
what I pick.
he's my crush, but he wasn't my first crush. So
Look at John
Yeah.
Malone, Penny from Lost in Space.
we got Joe Stan, Linda Carter,
Oh,
Farrah
Lord.
Fawcett,
Farrah
yes.
Fawcett from Milk,
You can't go
Penny
wrong with that.
Lost in Space with Jean Malot,
Yep.
Teresa Morrow,
Yep.
and Marilyn Monroe.
Oh man.
Yeah.
What was the angel that came after Farrah? It was like her cousin.
Was it Cheryl Ladd you talking about?
Yeah, Cheryl Ladd.
Because I was a Kate Jackson,
No.
Jacqueline Smith, and Cheryl Ladd. Those are my
I love
three.
Cheryl Ladd. I don't care about
Those
Kate.
Charlie's Angels and stuff.
Yeah, Cheryl Ladd was like, it was Linda Carter, Cheryl Ladd, and yeah, they were in the top two there.
Mine was Aaron Gray from Buck Rogers. The
Oh, good
tightest
choice.
pants in
Ah.
space.
Good choice.
Oh,
Good
nice.
choice.
Good hair.
Oh.
She had good hair.
Oh, her hair
Yeah.
was amazing.
Amazing
Yeah.
hair.
I was watching that show every week, and it was not for Buck Rogers,
No,
Some,
not at all.
some of that
Forget
stuff
about
wasn't-
Buck Rogers. Mm.
right? I'm like, yes, Buck, shut up a minute.
Let Aaron talk.
Aaron's got something to say. Colonel Wilma Deering. Uh-oh, half her suit's gone, and she's all sweaty. This is a great story.
What's happening? I don't know. Darn.
I hate when you lose your suit in space. It's such an inconvenience,
And the ratings go up 10 points instantly.
right? Bobby De La Ghetto's got Julie Newmar.
Julie Newmar.
Oh,
Yeah.
Julie Newmar. Yes.
Catwoman. Mm.
Best Catwoman. The Catwoman.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
Some of the Bond girls.
Girls. Oh yeah.
Right. Oh, and of course, I think one of them too, for a lot of us of a certain age, was Jane Fonda and Barbarella.
Oh yeah.
Oh, of course.
Mm.
100%.
Now, getting back to art, now that we've taken a little diversion, if you could go in the time machine and go to a certain period in time and be an artist in that time, drawing up IP in that time, where would you go and what would you draw?
Wow.
I told you
That
we'd
is-
only start
that
with
is a
these
good
questions, then they would get harder.
Question.
Wow.
That is a phenomenal. Got me thinking. That's a phenomenal question.
You can go back in any period in time.
You want me to go
and-
first? I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Yes, please.
I'd love to hear you, Steph.
I definitely go back in the Renaissance. Yeah. And I check out Michelangelo and Leonardo. Oh yeah. All that stuff.
And what would you want to sculpt back then?
That kind of stuff.
That kind of stuff.
I'd be Michelangelo's assistant. I'd just be like doing whatever he was doing. I'd be doing that. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
That is so Gary, you're killing me. What time?
It's the hot seat.
I like that.
I
like that
would
question
have
a
He's got
lot.
be-
some great stuff.
I would honestly
Yeah.
just have to be drawn. Honestly, I think every artist would want to go back to the Renaissance, and I would love to learn at the foot of the masters. I mean,
Yeah.
really, just to be near in that vicinity while that type of art is being shared and being created and being birthed. Just to be in that period, I by no means could even hold a candle, but to be there and to study with them, I think that would just be the dream come true. I think for any real, yeah, really.
Well, I know our buddy Mikhail would like to go back and do the Rocketeer.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mikhail loves the Rocketeer.
yes, he does. I owe him a pinup for sure.
Couldn't get past Jane. Let me see. Did they really build the pyramids? And I saw the best thing from a comedian talking about the pyramids. And he was like talking to a few Egyptians in the audience. He goes, "You guys cannot convince me that you made this great wonder of the world, and the only thing you've done since is high thread count sheets."
That's it.
Egyptian
it.
cotton. Yeah.
Right.
Unreal.
Listen, everyone's got a peak somewhere.
Yep.
True.
All right. So, Danny, so what is there anything that you're working on now that you can tell us about?
I am currently, and this has been so near and dear to me. I loved G1 Transformers. But guys, when I tell you the lore for that goes so deep, and then there's so much debate on the gaps in
Right.
the forming of Cybertron and the forming of just that entire mythos and universe. Holy crap. I had no idea growing up like it was ever that deep. And now I'm going down fandoms and wikis that are so yes. So it's Transformers. Luckily, my son loves G1 Transformers. So he's kind of ghostwriting with me. Like he's like, nah, Dad, you gotta add this. Maybe take this out. That's going too deep there. So
Right.
yeah. It's all about Transformers right now. And I'm just gonna focus on Optimus Prime. And I'm just gonna listen to the subscribers. If they say, hey, I want more of this, then absolutely tell me what Transformer you want drawn. We'll deep dive that origin. Let's do whatever
Nice.
you want.
Yeah, that's a hot
I'm
topic.
gonna already put my bid as Soundwave. It's the greatest.
That voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Now, when you're just idly sketching, do you have a guilty pleasure character you like to sketch to get yourself going?
Yeah. I think honestly, the guilty pleasure is it's Hulk again. I love watching just anytime he's smashing, just raging out. While I do love like the shredded 6-pack look that was through the 90s, there was something amazing about like the generation before the Jack Kirby, where it's literally a monster.
Right.
It's literally something you don't want to run into in a
Right.
dark alley. It's scary. So lately I've been trying to go back and recreate that fear, the fear that you would see if you saw a real monster, a man turn into a monster in front of you. So,
See, we spoke about him and he has appeared.
there you go. The
That's our buddy
Galloway.
Mateo. He's our connection. He's our 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever.
He's our link, sir.
Yes. Milt wants to know if you've ever done Howard the Duck.
I have not. I
That
have
might
not
be
done
one
a
that-
Howard the Duck.
Check out Howard the Duck. May not be as deep an origin story there.
Hey, but that's okay too. Because sometimes
Yeah.
if it's just a very light story and you can just bring someone up to speed in less than 10 minutes, I think
Yeah.
that's a home run. That's just a home
It
run.
is.
If you can make someone just lethal enough to at least have a conversation about Dragon Ball Z, for example,
Right.
job done. Job done.
Now, you do have a lot of anime. How much does your anime and manga influence your art as well?
Honestly,
The stuff you like there.
while I do love the stories and I love following, literally anything by Studio Ghibli is amazing to sit down and just watch to get the creative juices going. It doesn't necessarily bleed into my style.
Yeah.
So it's definitely for relaxation and enjoyment because it's amazing. But it doesn't necessarily
What's your
bleed in.
favorite Studio Ghibli work then? Because I know them as well. They're fantastic.
It's either Howl's Moving Castle or tied between Princess Mononoke. But I think they just rolled out, and I know it's from G Kids, which I think is a branch of Ghibli. They just did Deer King. If you have a chance, watch that. I just finished that last week. It's
Now,
amazing.
one of my guilty pleasure movies that I absolutely love is My Neighbor Totoro.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
cannot watch
okay.
that movie without smiling the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just such a joy to watch that film.
Yep.
Such
Now-
a good, clean story,
Yep.
such great visual storytelling, and one of the most adorable creatures ever in animation.
All right, Kale, I promise I'm going to have to do a One Piece episode. I promise. I'm sorry. I need to do more anime stories because I don't know. I tried to do a little bit of draw it in my style, but then I also tried, especially with like Samurai Jack, I try to honor that style as much as possible.
Right.
So
Well, I saw your One Punch Man looked really good.
thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
I thought that was close to what they had there. So
Yes, absolutely. I try to get as close as adjacent as possible. So yeah.
Afro Samurai. I don't know. I know of Afro Samurai. I don't think I've ever seen any of it though.
Yeah, it's very good.
Mm.
Very, very good.
Oh yeah. Afro Samurai, you'll like it, Jim.
Yes.
One of my old favorites was Ninja Scroll too.
Yes.
Oh,
But my all-time favorite anime is Bubblegum Crisis, the original series.
Yes.
I have not
Yeah.
had a chance to get into that. Bubblegum
Yeah, I've
Crisis.
never seen
So
that.
good. I bought the Blu-ray off Amazon because I couldn't take not being able to watch it anymore. I had to buy the Blu-ray.
I need this in my life.
Yeah, and the soundtrack's amazing.
Yes, it is.
Oh my! When you're watching it, you don't know the words, but you're still humming along. It's so
Yeah.
so fan. Because I'm one of those people, like musically, I would say 85% of my daily listening is foreign music.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
Like,
really?
There's very
Nice.
little English music I listen to during the day.
Who are you
It's
jamming right
almost
now?
all different languages. I don't need to know the words to love it.
Yeah.
So who you jamming out to right now?
Oh, Clava Coca. Let me pull up my list real quick. I've been really listening to Blackpink a lot lately.
Yeah. The Korean girl, big girls,
Yep,
right?
some K-pop. Yep.
Yeah.
Les Seraphim. Let's see who else. Cerebro. I've been listening to Anyone, and Leningrad. I've been listening to, and I got my whole list here. Izia, who is a French singer,
Nice.
and she's really great. But then one of my favorite. Ina. So I like a lot of Romanian pop too. So people like Ina and also Alexandra Stan. I'm really big into. NK, who is so NK and oh my gosh, she's one of my favorites, and I'm blanking on her name. Oh, Dorofieva. So a lot of the Ukrainian pop I like a lot too, and I listen to that. So I will go throughout my whole day. I'll have K-pop on. Then I'll have a little of the Bubblegum Crisis soundtrack going, and then I'll have Dua Lipa. I'll listen to her a lot, and I'm a big fan of Dua Lipa playing Dazzler. So that's what I'm campaigning as. But and also one of my favorite groups that nobody knows about is a group called Chromeo. Chromeo is so good.
Okay.
And they have like that old 80s sound. It's just these two dudes, and they're fantastic. They're one of the English groups I listen to. But most of the music I listen to all day is foreign music.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Better than me.
Take care, Joe. But yeah, anyway. So when you're doing art, do you have to listen to music, or do you need stone cold quiet?
Oh no, I have to have music. So lately I've been listening to a lot of Little Dicky, and it's just hilarious. It's just such like self-deprecating rap and humor that it's so funny. But I mean, my music's all over the place. From I don't know, I need to put what's everything from Jay-Z to Nirvana, Beastie Boys. I mean, I'm going through my playlist now. Of Mice and Men. What else have I been really jamming on? Oh no, it's gonna start playing. I don't want that. No. Okay, good.
Don't get a copyright strike.
No, we don't want that. It's just all over the place. I mean, I'm listening to podcasts. I love history podcasts, stuff you should know, stuff you missed in history.
Nice.
Some cold case murder files, So Yeah.
Kale saying
also-
you listen to Menudo.
Menudo.
oh yeah. Who doesn't? Who can't? You can't not. Ricky Martin.
Air Supply all day. Marcus. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, and Ofra Haza, I forgot about her. I used to listen to her a lot back in the day too.
Yeah. That's
So yeah, but yeah, I cannot. It can't be quiet for me.
Yeah.
It's no. I can't have the voices in my head going crazy. That can't.
Oh,
happen.
they'll just tear apart what you're doing.
No. Exactly. So
All right, well, we've been going to our town. We're going to go around with some final questions and then find out what everyone's doing. So if you guys have a final question for Danny, now would be the time.
I got one.
Go ahead. You start us out, Jim.
All right. It's going back to the whole DC Marvel thing, but with which one do you feel a greater influence from, Star Trek or Star Wars? Because I see a lightsaber or something like in the background back there.
Yeah, I got my.
I was like, I bet it's
old
Star Wars, but
Force
you
effect.
know.
Yeah. No, honestly, I have always had an absolute love for a better future and a better tomorrow and a place where humanity can really work together to push us into the stars. So
Yeah.
I love Star Trek and just the idea of let's let go of so much of our greed and vanity and jealousy
Right.
and let's propel the next really get off this rock,
Right.
and I really believe we can, but it's, I don't know. I'm not gonna. Sorry, too much philosophy there.
Not at
No.
all.
I'm sorry.
That's exactly what I was looking for.
Ugh.
I'm totally with you there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can really work
Star
together
Trek.
so much better. Yeah, I mean, so
Right, and Star Trek was more about the human
Right.
drama and just
But it's just some people out there that are just like, oh, Star Wars for life. And I'm like, yeah, but can't you love both? And don't they have both? They're kind of
wasn't-
different in things.
wasn't
that
like- Wasn't like Deep Space Nine like just amazing at the end? Like, you ever watch that series? Like, Deep
Oh,
Space
yeah.
was really good. It was like better than Star Wars.
it was so good.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you, after dissecting that as an adult, and I sat down with my son, we just finished the marathon every night. Every night, we would watch one episode, and it took us, I don't know how long, almost 3 years to finish it.
Mhm.
But the takeaway is the writing was so good.
It was
Right.
so good.
So, and they,
Yes.
Yeah.
while the last season, even though it meandered a little bit, they brought it all back and they tied it up good and they finished it good. But let me tell you, that series showed how dark and how much Starfleet, the Federation itself, bent the rules and got their hands bloody and red and dirty to beat the Dominion. I mean, the when you go back and you really see, like, dude, like Cisco actually like planted like stuff on cargo ships to bust them to get more fund, or I would say more support from Starfleet to
Right.
fight. Even though his aim was right, dude, how you went about it is greasy and dirty as fuck. I'm sorry. I'm not a Cisco fan anymore. He is not one of my favorite captains. He's
he's a dirty dog, huh?
no,
Dirty
he's
dog.
dirty. Go watch. I'm serious. Go back and see all the dirty things that they did. It was the road to hell is paved with good intentions. That's all I can say.
And
Sorry.
Kale saying he was a Firefly. Oh, Firefly's great. The 2 out is only
Yeah.
1 season.
Yeah.
Right.
But I love the movie too. It was great. Serenity. Steve Bisley, you got a final question?
Yeah. What is the ultimate goal for your YouTube channel and your Instagram page?
Honestly, it's to get to a point to where I can actually do that full time, where I'm not leaning on the golden handcuffs of work, right?
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
if I could just grow to a state where all I had to do is get up every morning and let's draw an episode, let's just have fun, that would be the goal. That would just be the goal, honestly.
Nice.
What
Steph?
what would be your goal? Like your like if you could accomplish anything artistically, what would be the main thing? Your highest achievement that you could achieve in your lifetime? What would that be?
Okay, so this is all right. So just being raised so poor, like I would love to be able to get art supplies to poor and underserved communities. Like if I could just get art supplies, like through my own funds, through my own steam, get that to, I mean, because I was always drawing on the back of paper grocery bags. Like that's
Mhm.
all we had. So it's number 2 pencil and a paper bag. So if I had the art supplies that I do now, then holy cow. Oh my God. So
Yeah.
the tools help. Having good tools help. That would be, I think, the ultimate place where it's like, hey, not only am I making these episodes, but just by watching, this amount is being donated to this community. So maybe let's go to this community. Maybe let's do a quick art lesson and just donate a bunch of supplies. So
Wow,
You know,
that's
actually,
really noble
I
of you.
actually,
Cool.
I know a guy that can probably help you with that.
yes.
I know people.
Mhm.
I can't say that they're going to tell you that they will admit to knowing me, but
But I know them.
all right. So
Can I
My-
ask you one more question, Danny?
Yeah.
At what age did you think you wanted to be an artist when you grew up?
Probably really early, like 5 or 6. My mother drew, my grandmother drew, like, and they were like,
See? They're born. I'm telling you, they're born.
ah!
She got you.
Well, the passion is born. Well, the passion is born. I'll meet you halfway. The passion is born. But yeah, absolutely. It was very early. I was like, I want to do this forever. My mom was like, well, maybe you can. So let's try to get you a little bit more supplies when I can afford it. If not, then you just have to draw on whatever's around the house because you're just going through everything too fast. So
Yeah.
all right. So
Cool.
my final question is there something that you're working on that's of your own creation that you want to see one day come to fruition, like an IP that you own, that you've created?
yeah, it's been bubbling for a while, and it's more of a story of essentially 2 people who have been in love since the beginning of humanity, but have traveled through reincarnation and constantly missing each other, just barely out of sync. But if they do ever connect, the
It'll
fate
be
of humanity changes. So,
Oh.
so it's a world-changing event or a universe-changing for
I
humanity.
feel like Lady Hawk is a little bit in there. Have you ever seen Lady Hawk?
Love Lady Hawk. Oh,
Love
yes.
Lady Hawk too.
Now
Oh
I
my
gotta
God.
watch that.
Yes.
You haven't seen like? Oh my God! It's
No,
gonna,
no, I have. I
Oh,
own it.
thank God.
So now I gotta
Thank
watch
God.
it again.
Yeah, you
Okay.
gotta go watch it.
Okay.
Come
Just
on,
saying.
I'm a Conan Barbarian guy. I've seen
It's
Lady
in the
Hawk.
vein. It's right in the
Yeah.
vein.
Right.
Yes.
It's the same thing.
I wasn't missing anything that had anything to do with swords and sorcery and witches and
Right.
And Michelle
adventure,
Pfeiffer.
And Michelle
Yeah.
Pfeiffer.
right?
Don't forget Michelle Pfeiffer.
And of course, the best family movie ever made, The Princess Bride.
Yeah.
Of all time.
Right.
I can
That's
watch it
family
over
The
and
movie
Battle
over.
of Wits back there in the back.
Oh,
Never
Vizzini.
argue.
Right? Gotta look out for those ROUSs.
That's right.
I don't think they exist. Don't worry about it.
Right.
They're not real.
All right, we're gonna go around the horn here. We'll start. Stephanie, you're up top, so you're first. Is anything coming up for you this week? Because I kind of
Don't
think
make
there
me
is.
first. Come on.
Right. You're already on the spot. You got to do it.
Let me think about it.
I know there's something coming up in 2 days.
I know. Can you just let me think about it and go
No,
down? Go down.
Yeah, but it's so much fun to harass you.
Stop harassing me. You can harass me.
Jim,
back.
Jim, what's coming up for you?
I have I bought a mystery box from Jason, helping to never could figure it out. He's trying to get money together for his kids for school coming up, and so I bought a mystery box from him. So I'll be opening that, and I have a few other packages coming. So it'll just be like a mail call day. I just gotta find time to film it, which isn't going to be this weekend because I have to go out of town, and I'll be seeing Brother John. So maybe I'll shoot something with Brother John this weekend.
There you go.
We'll see.
Nice.
See Bizzle?
I have an unboxing, a surprise unboxing. I got a package. I forgot to purchase all these books, so I got a package yesterday, and I'm gonna show off my new comic book day items. Also on my Instagram page, I've been posting a lot of comic books and their variant covers, so people can choose what variant covers they want on certain books. Tuesday, I will be on a show called the Black Comic Lords. Basically, I'm doing the FOC for books that are mainly people of color. That not just the characters in the books, but the artists and writers of those books. And I'm doing that every Tuesday.
Nice.
Well,
Unboxing, or you're doing video every Tuesday of some type of like
Every
unboxing
Tuesday I'm
or-
doing. Oh, every Tuesday I'm doing a FOC of books
Okay.
that have people of color in it.
Nice.
Mhm.
Awesome.
And for me, we have he's in the audience right now. We have Milt from Flowers Comics on the 10/11 on Tuesday. Then we have Shop for Comics on In the Hot Seat next Thursday. We're going to talk about the shop verse and what he's been up to. And I have something coming up Saturday morning as well, but we'll go over to Stephanie for that.
all right. I guess we have coffee and cosplay on Saturday morning at, oh my God, early o'clock, 4:30 Mountain Standard Time. And yeah, it's me and Gary is my co-host who so graciously agreed to come with me. And so we're going to be on our 4th installment, I think now,
Yeah.
right?
And
And
she's-
I'm going to be Psylocke this episode. So we'll be talking
Ooh.
all things Psylocke, trivia with Psylocke, chances to win a drawing once a month by me. And then, yeah, and then Gary and I have some shenanigans that we're going to do as well this week. So that'll
and
be
she made me sign in blood from now to eternity to be on the show.
Mm.
That's pretty bonding, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
She's been trying to alter the contract, though. I don't know if I have any more blood to give.
Pray she doesn't alter it further.
Right.
And,
Oh,
all right.
sorry.
Danny, what's coming up for you, bud?
Honestly, right now it's just working on trying to get Origins of Optimus Prime pushed out. So that's been the labor of love. But yeah, hopefully that'll be out first Friday of next month. So just week and a half
Yeah.
ish. So
Right?
crunch
And then-
time, procrastination. Let's go.
And shall we pick on Mikhail while we're in here? Because I have to email you something because Mikhail hasn't yet.
He loves
That
getting
way-
picked on. I've
Right?
been asking for it. Bro. Where you at? Kale, come on. G Spot. Shane.
Because like maybe sometime in the future, Danny and I might have a collaborative project going on.
Nice.
Nice.
Perhaps. We'll see.
Yeah.
It depends on the graciousness of Danny.
Hey, I'll make time, sir. I'll make time. Again, I appreciate you. Thank you tremendously. Thank you so much for bringing me on, brother. I truly appreciate it.
Right
All right,
on.
well, once Mikhail introduced me to your art, and then he said you're kind of okay that he can tolerate you. I said, all right, I'll reach out to him and see if he'll come on my lowly show. And,
Stop it.
I didn't have to beg too much, just a couple months in a row until my knees bled, and then you decided you would come on and go.
False, sir. False. Fake news. That's not. No.
It's fake news.
No. I'll show you the text. Where and
All
when?
right. No, but look at Kale, bring it on.
He's always ready.
Well,
Jarhead's always ready.
We can take Mikhail right now, Danny, because he hurt himself in a silly old dad accident. Remember? He hurt his ankle.
Oh, that's
Mm.
right.
Yeah,
That was. Oh, wow. Wasn't that like 6 months ago?
he's been hobbled.
Uh,
A self hobbling incident.
Mm.
mm.
Oh,
I'm
that's
talking about
still
those Marines,
pretty
though.
big. Yeah,
Bastards
pretty
and brothers.
big. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Still pretty
Uh,
big.
But no, guys, we'll shout out our buddy Mikhail. If you guys haven't checked out his YouTube channel, please check out Geek Spot. He's a great dude. Someone I'm really happy to have met and called friend here. And he says last month, not 6 months. Now
Was it last
now
month?
he's gonna haunt you.
Oh, my gosh. I'm so
Right.
sorry.
But
I have a disease where I can't tell like sense of time, so
Well, once
Do
you
you
start getting
really?
older,
Do
time
you
goes
really,
quicker.
Danny?
I'm making that up.
No.
I'm
I
trying
was
to
gonna
cover
get
up.
interested. I was going to get into that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Kale. Sorry.
All right, guys. I want to thank, first of all three of my co-hosts. Thank you guys for coming on and making the show better. I appreciate all of you spending time with us tonight. Thank you, of course, to our gracious guests for coming on. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Danny. And we had such a wonderful chat going. Thank you to everyone in the chat that tuned in. Please follow everyone in the descriptions and See, Biz, I got to add you in there. You were a last minute hop on. I got to put your links in there. But thank you all so much for coming out. We appreciate it. And check out their channels. Check out Stephanie and I this Thursday on her channel. And check out Danny. What's going on in his channel.
This Saturday, actually.
Did I say Thursday?
Yeah, you did.
That's okay.
This Saturday. It's only going to get worse from here, guys.
That alcohol's just flowing.
Yeah.
It's water.
Yeah.
But if you guys want good laughs and you need to start your Saturday right, Stephanie and I are there for you. You will not leave our show without a smile on your face. All right, and with that, guys, thank you all so much again. We certainly appreciate everyone. And until next time, keep it casual.
Boom.